Mom, get off the phone.
Everything's happening real slow.
I'm trying to send an email. Can you get off the video games?
But House of the Dead with 2 guns plugged in, playing by your damn self, that was where it was at, brother.
Nice.
Fucking A, man.
All right, you ready? All right, welcome everybody to the Drop Culture Podcast. We're coming to you almost live from a bunker deep inside NORAD.
We got deep in Skynet.
I'm here, of course, just like...
Not a lot of people know that Skynet started as a sex doll.
Oh.
Then they were hell-bent on fucking destruction after they figured out what we would do to a robot.
Brock, of course, you'd know that fact.
Yes.
And that's a great thing to call it after you beat it up, hellbent.
Oh. We bent the hell out of that shit.
Right.
After we beat it up.
I'm here, of course, with...
My name is Brock.
And I'm Mitchell.
And I'm Daniel. This episode is about our favorite video games. And Brock, let's kick it over to you. Let's get started, man.
Well, this one, like, I really literally, I don't play a lot of video games, but the video games I do play are kind of old school ones. Just because, I mean, whenever I started playing video games, we were pretty young, and that was kind of at the very big boom of video games.
Right.
So most of my experiences are kind of with those, kind of at the beginning of most of the titles. I'm not going to start with my absolute favorite one, but I am going to have some kind of going down the way. The very first game that I really like got into was Kung Fu. Now, this was on the original NES.
Yeah, I remember.
And it was before I liked Bruce Lee, anything like that, but it was loosely based on the Game of Death. But what I did find out about this game, which is pretty cool, that it was actually a tie-in to a Jackie Chan movie. They had a different name for it. It was called Spartan X. Kind of weird because it was a side scroller type of a deal. You only have 2 moves: kick, jump, and punch. So 3. Whoops. So you have 3 moves. It's so simple. I never could fucking beat this game. My patience for video games, even back then, wasn't that much. I would love to play video games, but I never really wanted to stick them out, without cheat codes. Because everybody got cheat codes from fucking...
Rocking that Game Genie song.
Yeah. If somebody had a Game Genie, it was like, holy shit, I could beat all the games I want to.
I got all the money in Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Besides the ultimate code that everybody had for Contra.
Yep.
That was the only one that anybody could do it. If you pull it off, you're like fucking cool.
I actually have a t-shirt that has that code across
See?
it.
Everybody knows it, and I'm not going to even say it. So say it in your head.
Just say Contra code. It's okay.
Yes, but this game came out for the NES in 1985. It was actually started off as an arcade console called Kung Fu Master, which is really cool. So basically, it's just it's a very simple game. You have 5 levels, and it's inside a place called the Devil's Temple, and you're fighting these little bitty guys, big guys, anything. You got to kick. Some people throw knives, shit like that. It's really cool. One of the posters that I just made for our Facebook page, website, everything that we use is actually some of the bosses from it. So it's actually pretty cool. The main character is Thomas. He's like Bruce Lee. So he's got to rescue Sylvia from Mr. X. Like I said, it was kind of basically based on Game of Death. If you've ever watched it, that was Bruce Lee's final movie that never got finished. And when they did finish it, it fucking sucked ass.
Yep.
We won't even get into that part of it because at one point they actually use a cutout of Bruce Lee's face on screen while the actor that's playing the guy is so fucking bad. But anyway,
it's mostly terrible. I'm a huge Bruce Lee fan. And,
But the coolest part was the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar fight scene, which is the fucking shit. The whole idea behind it was pretty awesome. So this game was really cool. What I did find out, too, the guy that produced this game, his name is, and I'm going to say this incorrectly, 100%.
It's okay.
Please write in Twitter and Facebook and let Brock know he's an idiot.
Pronounce it for me, please, because I'm going to say Takashi whatever.
Miyamoto?
Takashi sounded right.
Nishiyama, it might be it. Takashi Nishiyama. This is a cool fact. He designed the original Street Fighter game.
Oh.
And then he moved on to the SNK development team. So like Final Fight, all those old school badass arcade games like that.
Okay.
I think it was Fatal Fury. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, Samurai Showdown, things like that. He had a lot to do with those early games with SNK. It was it was one of those games that I had when I was a kid. Didn't really have that many, and my parents didn't really buy a lot of video games for me at that point. So the NES kind of gathered dust for a little while. But another game that I got at the same time was my second game was Legend of Zelda. The original Legend of Zelda is fucking epic anyway. Everybody knows it. You
Of
actually got
course.
to make choices with this thing. You had to listen to the people talking. You had to find hearts. You had to go through Hyrule. You know, you were Link. You were trying to go piece together the Triforce.
Yeah.
Which, come on, most of the most popular games ever are Legend of Zelda based games.
Absolutely.
They've sold so many fucking copies. I think the original one came out. It was a disc kind of a game. Came out for a different system, but when it came out for NES, it came out in 1986. I think I got it in 87. Maybe because that's really pretty much when it hit kind of the market for it, and it was a gold cartridge. It's
Oh,
fucking bitching
yeah.
to see that, you know.
Yeah.
You get in there. My dad played it when everybody went to bed, which is kind of weird. He played
Which
it.
is what I do now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He kind of, I mean, it's a generational thing.
Right.
It's weird. It's crazy. I just remember it being like, it was just such a crazy game, and it was such a game that you really had to get into. So again, my patience with games, even with something as simple as Kung Fu or Super Mario Brothers, I never beat them. I did come back though years later, probably 2010, 2011, and went through the whole fucking game, beat the whole fucking thing, took on Ganon, beat the whole thing, which was
Nice.
really cool. It was really neat to go through it and collect all the shit, save it and everything. It's something I should have done when I was a kid. Everybody's beat Super Mario Brothers. I never have. Not even
Right.
once. It's one of those games that I can always go back to and play, just because it's still, you still have to really work at that fucking game. It was a hard game. NES games were hard.
Yeah, dude.
They were all fucking hard, but they were fun, you know?
Absolutely.
Just show me Lion King, and you'll show me
Yeah.
a very, very sad boy crying in the corner.
What about Aladdin for
Dude.
the SNES?
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ, that game was fucking hard.
Lion
dude.
King was like almost like ET, where you could actually glitch the game and you're literally screwed. You cannot beat it.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I played a lot of Super NES because, you know, eventually I did get a Super NES, and that old Nintendo, I don't even know where it's at. It's gone. It went to
Sad
oblivion.
day.
You know what I mean?
Sad day.
Yeah, I had everything hooked up on my TV in my room, which I had
yeah.
a TV in my room, which is cool, but never played shit. Took it to my grandparents' house, played it. It's just one of those games that I could really kind of go over and over again. Some of the history behind it. The guy that created that one, too, he went on to do a lot of good stuff, and I'm not going to pronounce his name correct either. You can look him up. You can look up a lot of this stuff on Wikipedia and shit like that. Shigeru Miyamoto and Takashi Tezuka. Both of those guys were pretty much the creators of that. The
I
guy
thought you
that...
did a pretty good job on the
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
pronunciation.
Hopefully that was pretty good. you
Yeah.
know?
that was pretty good.
I can see
You
it.
feeling pretty strong now?
Yeah, no, I actually feel pretty
One
good.
user on
Now
the
just wait till
internet.
this...
That's not how you pronounce it.
You didn't pronounce it correct.
Actually,
Yeah, we need a windbag up in that shit. So there's a guy that wrote the backstory for it, which this guy worked on Dragon Ball,
Oh, what?
which is pretty crazy. His name is Keiji Toriu or something like that. He was working on all kinds of stuff at that time. So going back to the old anime stuff, which is really fucking cool that he worked on something as big as Dragon Ball, because that's still fucking huge right now. That was a blueprint for a lot of things like Gundam and things like that.
and didn't you inform us like on another episode or maybe something else that started like in the 70s, right?
Oh, long
Yeah,
time ago.
yeah.
Way longer than you thought it would ever be. But it started with Dragon Ball, and then when that series kind of developed, it changed to Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT. Then that was the disowned bastard child that they forgot about, like Dragon Ball GT. That never happened. Okay, we're just gonna move on.
Yeah, there's a lot, and what's really cool about reading about these, all the creators over there were doing a lot of things together, which
Right.
was pretty neat, you know, and especially at the very beginning of video games, you know, when people were actually adding that mythos to it, like they're, I don't know, just being in the medieval kind of a deal. You got a sword and you got to go take on these weird fucking, because even in the book, I remember still having that book for years later, just looking into it and reading all about the characters and stuff, and they look so cool.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't it also one of the like first Nintendo powers? I don't think the first one, but one of the original Nintendo
Yes.
powers
Uh-huh.
like had the map and all that.
You
in
could
it?
send in, from what I remember, you could actually, you send into this fan club deal,
Mhm.
and they sent you a magazine about this stuff, and it was like
yeah, it was
updates
the
on it.
Nintendo Power magazine.
And that started
yeah.
kind of around that same time, and it kind of pushed it in there once they got to like 1 million people that were on it. Really, I think
Nintendo had a cartoon, Captain N.
Oh man, Captain
Oh
N was
my
awesome,
God.
man. I remember that too.
He
They
had
even
he
had
the
Legend of
zapper
Zelda.
gun, and like one of the characters was Simon Belmont from Castlevania.
Oh,
He
And
was
one
a
of them
douche.
didn't they have a actual Game Boy was a character too?
Maybe.
The actual Game Boy was a fucking character.
Probably.
Because
I don't remember that very much, but yeah, I'm sure.
Between 1986 and like 1989, they released so many of those video game TV shows. Which coming home after school, I remember watching Super Mario Brothers with Captain Lou Albano and shit.
Yes.
It's the Mario Brothers. It was fucking really cool. But at the same time, they were working on that. They were working on Zelda. They were working on Super Mario Brothers.
Okay.
So Super Mario Brothers was their normal side scroller. You can make decisions on that one too, but this one was a little bit more involved.
A lot more involved.
Really fucking cool. You had your certain dungeons and everything that you had to get, and they were pretty hard. And you always had to buy a fucking shield. Like I don't know how many fucking shields I ever bought for 130 fucking rupees.
Well, you're always being attacked, man.
Yeah. And I mean, you would hear that beeping whenever your hearts are down to like have it's like beep 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 beep. Fuck that sound.
Yeah,
So you just want to die and go back to the beginning just so you can go all the way the fucking back up.
Old video games, we had a tolerance that we do not have nowadays because they used to do those annoying sounds all the time.
Yeah.
Well, we can't do that anymore.
Well, and now, Mitch, with all the video games that I've played, they tell you what to do if you're fucking up. They're
Yeah.
like, maybe I should go left.
Right.
What? Okay. When the first game I played like that was like Captain America for the 360, and it told me what to do.
Really?
And I'm like, huh?
Well, that was
How
a
would you
game
beat
made
this?
for a movie,
Yeah.
so those are always terrible.
Well, it was like a backstory kind of a deal.
Yeah,
so they had
still,
World War
it's going
II
to be
stuff.
terrible. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Anytime they're like, "Oh, we made this because there's a movie,"
Yeah,
it's
let's
mostly
put it together.
terrible. Yeah.
The fight engine on that one was pretty cool, and I think that turned into somewhat of the Batman Arkham Asylum games,
Which is
way
one
that
of
they
the
did.
better fighting systems.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
Which is kind of similar to the Mad Max fighting system, actually.
Yeah, and that's actually a really cool game. I still haven't got really into it so much. The inspiration for another game that I played a lot of when I got a little bit older, because my oldest son, Julian, played this game a lot, and Amy, my wife, played a shitload of it, called Animal Crossing. I don't know if you know that game.
Yeah.
I've heard
I
of it.
fucking love that game.
It's
And
addicting of all ages, man. I've seen people that are, it's like
Everybody
almost like
can play it.
Pokemon, like kids, adults, everybody likes it.
And it started because of Zelda. They wanted to have that same kind of idea with Legend of Zelda, but they couldn't do it at that time, and it developed into Animal Crossing now.
Ah.
So now it's pretty cool. You know, you got to buy a house from, Mr. Nook or whatnot. All the fucked up crazy shit. A little bit about the characters in it. Zelda was named after F. Scott Fitzgerald's wife, Zelda Fitzgerald. I thought that was fucking pretty
Yeah,
cool.
right.
You know what I mean? It's kind of weird. Where did they get Ganon from? I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
But it's basically like a good coming of age
Right.
game, which is
It
really
is.
cool.
Yeah.
And then every time they update it, it seems like it gets a little bit better. But that original one to me is still the one that is the best one out of all of them. It really is pretty
Zelda
cool.
has really been good at like taking different art styles through the different games that they do, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a really cool thing that nobody really complains about it. They don't really care that Zelda is changing almost every single game how he looks and like how
You
he.
mean Link.
Oh yeah, duh.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Link. Yeah. Zelda's franchise.
But think of the generational thing for it too. We go
Yeah.
back to that. I mean, so many people. My son's played so many of those Zelda games now. My wife is still playing the fucking new one on the Switch. She's already
yeah.
beat it once. She's beating it again.
Breath of
you
the
know what I
Wild,
mean? Yeah, it's fucking really cool games. I still haven't really got into it, but my next one, okay, to kind of wrap that one up, that was just a fucking badass game. It's one of those
Agreed.
games that I can always play and everybody can play and they really love it. Next one was Mortal Kombat 2. Mortal Kombat was awesome.
No, it wasn't.
But Mortal Kombat 2 came along and it fucking broke the fucking game.
Can I interject for 1 minute? All fighting games start with number 2.
Yep.
If you think about that.
Get
Yeah.
really
Street
good.
Fighter 2
Yep.
was the most popular Street Fighter. That's what got Street Fighter popular.
Oh, yeah.
Mortal Kombat, they went away from the weird video people or whatever
Yeah.
they had going on.
Motion
And
capture
motion
shit.
capture, yeah. And that Mortal Kombat 2 is where it's at. I would even say Tekken. Tekken 2 was probably
Yep.
the thing that brought that
Yeah,
forward.
you're right. Most fighting games really did start at part 2 because they had that first one to hook everybody, and they went in with Mortal Kombat 2. I wasn't very good at the console. Never liked playing the stand-up arcade console style. You know?
Gotcha.
Could never really do it. I knew a lot of people that were fucking badass at it. Right, playing it on SNES was fucking like that was the coolest thing in the fucking world, man.
Absolutely.
The shit that it could do.
Yoga Flame! Yoga Fire!
Well, that's Street Fighter.
Oh, yeah. You said Mortal Kombat. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
She don't want the booty of the week.
But what a couple of the things about this one that really stood out is they had friendships and then they had the babalities, but instead of the fatalities, which is kind of crazy. You're killing somebody at the fucking very end of it.
Yeah.
This game came out the same time Doom came out.
Right.
I don't know if you just call that killing. Like is there a different word for killing that's like, hey, I'm holding on to your spine?
Mutilation?
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have, instead of fatality, they should have mutilation. Which was really cool. They had a lot of returning characters, and the newer characters really did bring the whole thing to life. And I remember playing the fuck out of that game.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere. Even though I sucked at the